about a little bit of food and magic. And basically what I'm going to talk about is nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. Science combined with the Bible today. I'm going to start here at Matthew 14:15, where it talks about disciples saying that they're in a desolate place and that the crowds are leaving to go buy food for themselves. Because there is no food. They're in a desolate place. So they're going to the village to buy food. Jesus says, no need, they have to go away. Give to them you to eat. And they say to him, not we have here, if not 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said, bring to me here them. And having commanded the crowds to sit down on the grass, having taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, having looked up to heaven, he spoke a blessing, and having broken, he gave to the disciples the loaves, and the disciples to the crowds. So basically, this blessing, alright, that this wasn't spoken of in the Bible. They didn't say this. This kind of confirms that in the English Bible, if you read it, it kind of leaves it empty-handed. Did he use magic, or did they eat a little tiny bit? Did the crowd offer up food? How did the crowd eat? Well, right here, it kind of proves that if you believed that Jesus used magic to split the fish up, to split the bread up, and duplicate them, basically using nuclear fusion, nuclear fission. Fusion and fission are required for this. Basically, you do fission, and what happens is you separate the particles into 2 particles, and then you fuse that into the graviton layer. Basically, you need the heavens, you need upper dimensional support, basically, in order to keep it ordered. Now, it says he spoke to the heavens and did a blessing, right? Or he looked up to the heavens. Looked up to the heavens doesn't really spoke to him. It kind of just means that he selected, a higher order layer of reality. I would assume that it's similar to something that I call graviton field selection. I do this myself. I don't necessarily duplicate food, but I constantly heal my body, and I'm healing, a lot in the world. A lot of things. I'm healing a lot of things. We'll just say that. And one of the number one things is, I guess I look up to the heaven, and it's right there. Like, it's right here. I look up into the fields above me, and I look for, it says he spoke a blessing. The blessing was probably to fuse the blueprints of this fish and bread after he separated them with the gravitonal, the submass layer, the super small layers of high energy, the life support grid, the heaven grid, basically. It says heaven, right? And what I'm trying to help you understand is, heaven is also mass and energy to us, right? So, some people don't say that, but the Bible also does say specifically that earth and the heavens are made together out of God, and God made them at the same time in the same place in the universe. It's not like they're separate. It's just that we don't have the decryption devices capable of witnessing both fields at the same time until you're like a saint or transcended into heaven, right? But anyway, what I'm trying to teach is how the science supports this. How science supports this is nuclear fission, nuclear fusion. It's basically 3D printing, is one way of putting it, but it's way more advanced. It's like, think about Earth is, way in the past, and Jesus is way in the future. Basically, he gave this food, this duplicated blessed food, right? Or I'm assuming that's what he did, to the disciples. And the reason why I'm saying that is it says they have 12 hand baskets full now from just 5 loaves and 2 fish. 12 hand baskets are not 5 loaves and 2 fish, right? So we are assuming that those are the leftovers. He fed about 5,000 men and women and children. And what I'm trying to say here is that this is possible in today's world. The magic that you see might not happen right in front of you. We'll keep it out of your sight. But, you know, that's what I believe in. That this is what we do in the real world today. Not just in the Bible in the old days. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't make it not real. That's what I'm trying to teach. So what I'm trying to show you, what I'm trying to tell you, is this kind of stuff is harnessable by you and me, eventually. Now, if you go and try and rush to that point and do it for bad reasons, well, you know, it might be a bad thing for you. But anyway, I hope this helps. Somewhere in here it says that the whole crowd was full as well. Everybody was ate to their fill, and nobody was left hungry because of being able to separate the mass. Now, here's the thing too: is he got that fish from somebody that he asked. He asked for the fish and the loaves. What I'm going to try and teach to you now is upper dimensional working. If you work for God, you can work 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 or more times as potently. And when you go and support a good cause, you can support it with the same exact strength. And if you're working that much, you're going to need to feel that much. So you're going to have to eat that much. So if you go out and you support a place that you like, you might support it stronger than you know. Because the universe, it works in a magical way where we're trying to keep our friends and family and even our acquaintances, alive, right? And with us and stable. Nowhere in there did it say Jesus only fed his close family, right? He fed a crowd, possibly of even strangers, right? Many strangers is what I'm assuming. But what I'm trying to teach is that in order to get to the point where you're a holy worker working for millions of times per one work that you put out, you think you work one time, but you're working 1,000,000 times. You have to stay away from sin, because sin is energy loss and mass loss. And you might think that we're all in one, universe where every single person is exactly the same weight. But as you get older, you start to discover it doesn't work that way. Where God is accessing earth from heaven, Jesus is accessing earth from heaven. They're giant celestial beings. And, think about it this way. They don't have to follow your rules. They can experience earth exactly the same way as you do. And be a giant celestial being at the same time. We don't have to follow these rules that we're remote controlling avatars like The Sims. No, we're living the experience over there and entangling a symmetrical, remote control here. And that's the whole point of the Bible is they killed Jesus' avatar. He just revived it and started again. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is the opposite of the story too, is I'm not trying to say that I'm on the earth that they killed Jesus. I'm probably somewhere in between that and Jesus, because I stay away from that kind of stuff. What I'm trying to advise you against is to be on the other end of the spectrum. Is you don't want to be in the smaller micro worlds. You don't want to be a germ remote controlling a human, because at the end of the day you lose all your power. Not only do you lose all your power, you lose that million times work modifier. Instead, you have a negative 1 million times work modifier. You divide your work by a million. And every single time that you're doing this, it could be even more. It could be infinite, necessary. You could be chiseling at this giant formula that you don't even know, trying to, get back to square one. And that could be something that you struggle with forever. And hopefully not. Hopefully, you take heed of the wisdom here that I'm trying to share. And you avoid that stuff. And you move forward with your life growing. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. OMG Bomber out. Peace.